Sean Connery and Brigitte Bardot share a moment on the set of the western Shalako in 1968. He had just finished You Only Live Twice, and she was a global sensation, making this a rare meeting of two of Europe's biggest stars. Suzanne Pleshette's distinctive, husky voice made her a memorable presence in films throughout the 60s. Before her famous role on The Bob Newhart Show, she was a regular on the silver screen and a favorite guest of Johnny Carson. These four young women were photographed in County Galway, Ireland, around the turn of the 20th century. Their stark expressions offer a glimpse into a life of hardship, long before the modern comforts we take for granted. Alec Guinness and Omar Sharif share a conversation on the set of the 1962 epic Lawrence of Arabia. The studio initially wanted a big star for Sharif's role, but director David Lean fought for the then unknown Egyptian actor. Acclaimed photographer Elliot Erwitt captured this scene backstage at the Tropicana in Las Vegas for a 1957 Esquire feature. These showgirls were part of the resort's opening act, the famous Folies Bergère, imported straight from Paris. A couple rides an autoped scooter through New York City in the early 1920s. This early motor scooter was marketed to doctors and businessmen, promising a top speed of around 20 miles per hour. Soviet actress Lydia Smirnova poses on a beach in a 1950 photograph that was unusually candid for its time. While most images of Soviet stars were strictly formal, this one has a relaxed style more common in Western magazines. A young Cameron Diaz is captured in front of the famous Las Vegas sign around 1995. This was right after her breakout role in The Mask, just as she was becoming one of Hollywood's biggest new stars. Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford hang out at Monty Python member Eric Idle's home in 1978. That's Peter Mayhew, the man inside the Chewbacca suit, presenting a gold record from a Python comedy album. Hollywood power couple Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh hold hands at their home during the 1950s. The two stars were married for 11 years and are the parents of fellow actress Jamie Lee Curtis. Young women walk through the streets of Damascus, Syria, in the early 1970s. During this period, it was common to see Western fashions like bell-bottoms and miniskirts in many Middle Eastern cities. William Shatner shares a laugh with Leonard Nimoy during a lunch break on the set of Star Trek around 1968. Even with his Vulcan ears on, Nimoy couldn't always maintain Spock's famous lack of emotion between takes. President Gerald Ford rides with an ailing General Francisco Franco through Madrid in May 1975. The controversial visit was one of the last major state events for the Spanish dictator, who passed away just 6 months later. Britain's Queen Elizabeth II addresses an enormous crowd at the Ramlila grounds in Delhi during her 1961 tour of India. It was her first state visit to the country after it gained independence, drawing crowds of over 250,000 people. A massive billboard featuring a young Tom Selleck towers over 11th Avenue in New York City in 1976. Before he was Magnum P.I., Selleck was a successful model, appearing in ads for products like Salem cigarettes. Director Alfred Hitchcock personally serves tea to Grace Kelly on the set of To Catch a Thief in 1955. He famously considered her the ideal leading lady, a perfect blend of cool sophistication and hidden fire. A vintage postcard captures the bustling traffic and iconic signs of Hollywood Boulevard in the early 1960s. You can spot the famous Barker Brothers building, a landmark long before the street became a major tourist hub. Vivian Leigh poses for a portrait in 1937, just 2 years before she would win the coveted role of Scarlett O'Hara. The British actress beat out hundreds of American hopefuls for the part in Gone with the Wind. James Dean shares an intense moment with actress Ursula Andress at a Los Angeles nightclub in 1955. This photo was taken shortly before his untimely death, capturing the brooding persona that made him a star. Before Hollywood transformed her into the iconic redhead Rita Hayworth, she was a dark-haired actress named Margarita Cancino. The studio famously raised her hairline and dyed her hair to create her signature love goddess image of the 40s. The opening ceremony of the 1980 Moscow Olympics featured this massive card stunt, forming a portrait of Vladimir Lenin. American audiences never saw it live, as the U.S. led a 65-nation boycott of the games that year. Anne Margaret became a household name after starring opposite Elvis Presley in Viva Las Vegas in 1964. Her energetic dancing and vibrant screen presence made her one of the most popular female stars of the decade. Hundreds of schoolgirls sit for a photograph inside the Wallinska School in Stockholm, Sweden, around 1908. This was one of the first schools in the country to offer serious academic education to female students. In a surprising pop culture crossover, John Lennon and his son Julian visited the set of Happy Days in 1974. He was reportedly a big fan of the show, especially of Henry Winkler's character, the Fonz. Acclaimed photographer Terry O'Neill captured this candid moment with Audrey Hepburn by a swimming pool in the south of France. O'Neill was famous for taking relaxed, informal photos of celebrities, showing a side the public rarely saw. An early lineup of the pioneering all-girl rock band The Runaways poses for a photo in 1975. That's Joan Jett on the right, and on the left is bassist Mickey Steele, who would later find fame with the Bangles. Two women in Tokyo in 1941 hold up a photo of Winston Churchill, pinching their noses in jest. They are playfully mocking his initials, WC, which is a common British slang term for a toilet. A yellow cab sits outside a Burger King in New York City, captured in a 1974 photograph. The distinctive red and orange stripes of the restaurant were a familiar sight across America during that era. Country music giant Johnny Cash shares a laugh with soul music pioneer Ray Charles in a recording studio. The two legends, both of whom redefined their respective genres, shared a mutual respect and friendship. In 1955, 107-year-old William Lundy, then believed to be one of the last living Confederate veterans, poses by a new F-100 Super Sabre jet. The photo was a publicity stunt designed to illustrate the incredible technological leap from the Civil War to the jet age. A vintage postcard from the 1950s shows the iconic corner of Hollywood and Vine, with the Capitol Records building in the distance. This intersection was considered the epicenter of Hollywood's entertainment industry during the golden age of radio and film. A radiant Sophia Loren greets the press at the 1955 Venice Film Festival. At the time, she was on the verge of international stardom, transitioning from Italian films to major Hollywood productions. Audrey Hepburn enjoys a game of beach cricket during a break from filming Two for the Road in 1967. The film's director noted that her playful off-screen energy was something he wanted to capture in the movie. A worker, one of the many Rosie the Riveters, assembles the engine of a B-25 bomber in California during World War II. This vibrant Kodachrome photo shows the crucial role women played in the war effort on the home front. Long before she was a household name, a young Ava Gardner poses for a beach photo shoot in the early 1950s. She was known for her fierce independence and famously resisted the studio's attempts to control her personal life. Actress Jane Fonda is captured in a candid, intense moment during the late 1960s. This period marked a turning point in her career as she began taking on more serious roles and became heavily involved in activism. A 1950s photograph puts the immense scale of California's giant sequoia trees into perspective. The post-war boom in car ownership made road trips to see these natural wonders a popular American vacation. Hollywood's famous Vine Street is seen here in a 1950s postcard, looking south from Sunset Boulevard. The prominent circular building on the right was NBC's Radio City, the hub of West Coast radio broadcasting for decades. A stylish group strolls through Harlem in 1972, showcasing the flamboyant suits and platform boots of the era. This look, often called pimp style, was heavily featured in the popular blaxploitation films of the time. Director Steven Spielberg poses with his famous creation during a quiet moment on the set of E.T. in 1981. Before the film became a blockbuster, the alien was a complex puppet that required a team of operators to bring to life. Teenage girls gather around a portable television set in 1949. a time when owning any TV was still a novelty. A screen this small was the window to a whole new world of entertainment for post-war American families. Sydney's Harbour Bridge is shown shortly after its 1932 opening. Surrounded by a low-rise city, the modern photo highlights the dramatic growth, including the addition of the world-famous Opera House, which opened in 1973. A quiet bus station in Poznan, Poland is pictured in 1968, offering a glimpse of life behind the Iron Curtain. The modern view shows the dramatic changes that have taken place since the end of communist rule. An ornate public urinal, known as a pissoir, stands on a Paris street in this 1875 photograph. Hundreds of these structures once dotted the city, but were almost all removed by the 1960s for reasons of public health and modesty. Rock star Alice Cooper meets surrealist artist Salvador Dali in 1973 for a bizarre collaboration. The project resulted in Dali creating the world's first ever 3D hologram, using Cooper and his brain as the subject. Londoners celebrate Christmas in an underground station in 1940, seeking refuge from the nightly German bombing raids. These makeshift bomb shelters provided a sense of community and safety, allowing for moments of cheer even during the Blitz. A woman directs passengers at a busy station during World War I, one of the many who took on new roles to support the war effort. With millions of men fighting overseas, women stepped into jobs in transport, factories, and farms, proving essential to the home front. The slight upward curve of the Titanic's deck, known as sheer, wasn't a flaw, but a crucial design feature. This elegant line helped the ship cut through rough seas more safely, and was considered a mark of sophisticated naval design. Actress Jane Mansfield shares a moment with a young sailor while entertaining U.S. Navy personnel in 1957. Like Bob Hope and Marilyn Monroe, Mansfield frequently participated in tours to boost morale for American troops stationed around the world. A young Dolly Parton stands with her husband, Carl Dean, in a rare photograph from the mid-1960s. Dean has famously avoided the spotlight throughout Parton's entire career, making early photos of the couple a rare find for her fans.